That brings us into the last player we're going to talk about tonight, Lint, the 4th in New England, currently a Falco player. And like we said before, we're going to look through all of his results, see the good things, the bad things, to see how his season of Melee wraps up, and if Lint will be making the top 100 this year. But let's start off with the first event, Gigahog Arrow beating Warmer and Bonfire, both people from the region. Warmer is a Falco, 9th in New England. Bonfire is a Sheik, 2nd in New Hampshire, right behind, I believe, Calvar in New Hampshire, and then losing to Tiramisu and JJM. So a lot of regional stuff in here. We can actually take a look at the New England head-to-head sheet. I forget the name of the person. I really do appreciate it. When I did one of the earliest ones, I was talking about not having this, and he added me on Facebook and DM'd me this whole sheet, which was incredible, super help, and I feel real bad not being able to know his name off the top of my head. Lint's general trend against Tiramisu and JJM is what we want to know, if that is on this sheet. And again, it looks like this only goes up to 922, so it's starts at 324, so it's not the entire year. Down on Slox, down on Joyboy, down on Calvar, up on Tiramisu, even with thumbs. Interesting. Nonetheless, we can label these two as less than desirable losses, going down to him winning Super Smashed Out, beating Smuckers, to, I don't know how well Smuckers was playing at this portion of the year. He's like severely dropped off as we continue into the end of it. A little bit all over the place, continuing down to the script episode 2, losing to Big Kid, now known as Layton, and Absent Page. Absent Page is a really interesting case. Because Absent Page is going to be on the ballot. It's probably going to be ranked very high because of the whole situation that happened with him being banned for a while and now being back. So it's going to be interesting to see where he falls on the ranking, everything he considered. But for Lint's sake, in the discussion about Lint, loss isn't bad at all. And Layton, I'd say maybe it's another like highlight worthy because he's in this general area in this conversation of being right in the top 100. Okay, I was talking about the gang, win over Get a More Machine. Good player from New England, not highlightable. Mog, again, every time I go back to his results, I am shocked by how incredible they are, so that's definitely a green win, especially if we're talking about Layton being a loss in that capacity, losing the Dreff in Swedish, no problems there. The Hacks Money event, I should have put this as a double. Actually really interested to see, because we know player like Ryo Beat is up on Hacks Money for the year, which is incredible to have. So to also see Lint up on Hacks Money for the year would be cool. From what we have here, it looks like 2 and 2. I imagine there's more sets than that, but again, we're gonna hold our judgment on that. Yeah, but still having at least 2 wins on Hacks, at least being even on the data set we have, really, really cool to see, especially with Hacks' recent defeat of HFox, which is still weird to see. We were pretty much done with the gang, and then moving down to CT GamerCon, I was just mainly focusing on the Hacks win, but the Calvar and Chusei wins also really, really great as well. It's an incredible tournament. Kind of making up for the previous event. I don't think I was going to highlight the loss no matter what, but yeah, 42nd being 68th last year, not a bad loss at all. Losing to Pew Pew, especially as a Spaces player, not a bad loss at all. Who is a bad loss is Scape, which I don't know what kind of bracket was going on at the National Melee Arcadian that he got double eliminated by someone, finishing 33rd. According to Ryo Beat, Scape is a Arizona Puff main near the lower end of their PR. Again, usually when these players that are a bit more difficult to find, that usually tends us to lean towards less than desirable loss. And again, like we see the National Melee Arcadian because we're talking about the general kind of players who haven't been on the top 100. So we're seeing a lot of these results. We're seeing the National Melee Arcadian show up for almost all of these players that we're talking about. And for most of them, there's some very odd or definitely uncharacteristic results there, and I guess because it's a very high pressure situation, playing against a lot of players that they don't know, playing a lot of it's a bunch of hidden bosses crowded all together, so it can get a little bit weird. I'm not going to completely, with all that preface, I'm not going to completely write off that loss there, but again, just something to keep in mind. The National Melee Arcadian has appeared to, with all the players we've been looking at, bring out weird results. But it looks like that those weird results continued on down to Omega 3, where he lost to the Long Island Fox Wild, and again lost another set to 40 Seconds Puff. Kim Warlock, being the detective that they are, linked us to another event where Gigahog earlier in the year, Gigahog 5, which would have been taking place 23rd, right after the loss to the script, where we see him beating Toussaint, Layton. Oh yeah, wait, so right, that's actually really good to see. I wonder does he play Layton later in the year? No. So he lost to Layton and then beat Layton in the run back at Gigahog. Also beat Ryobeat here, which is cool to see, and beat Tiramisu. Is that a run back against Tiramisu? Again, they probably have a greater local record, but winning after losing to them at a pretty reasonable event before that, really cool. There's actually a lot of really good run back results here. It does bring down the hacks head-to-head for the year, but really, really interesting to see. And I guess from that we can see, well, I guess the sets are really close. That I guess we'd maybe put that more in Two Saints' court than Lint getting. Well, it could be Lint also improving in the matchup, but it seems like Two Saint had figured it out by the end of the year, or cracked something and was able to turn that record around. Lint's got a very interesting record with Puffs, going down the Gigahog reunion, picking up another win over Hacks and a win over Calvar. Well, at least the Hacks win would probably be a blue, like a strong highlight if it wasn't a like consistent regional one that we're looking for the greater trend there. And like I said, maybe the same could be said about Calvar. So, but good wins there, losing to Slox and Two Saint. Not super excited to see him losing the run back. Again, these are going to be things more we'll look into and kind of zoom in a little bit more on when we have the full local results. Yeah, but kind of to keep it in mind and just get a feel of Lint while we're here. At more War Machine versus the World, didn't pick up any notable wins on his way to 5th, losing to Calvar and Joy Boy. Again, kind of what you would expect, losing to some more really talented New England players. Yeah, a lot of these results are just mainly him facing off with New England players, which is another tournament. Cool. I mean, no, Kim Warlock, don't feel like you need to apologize. I'm always glad to see more results, especially when you jump me right to the page. Ooh, losing to Get a War Machine and Joy Boy. Yeah, so again, like another negative input into the local head-to-heads. Trading sets with Leighton, losing the reset, so getting second in the tournament. Beating Panos, beating Slox, Warmer. Yeah, I imagine, and beating Super. I imagine you guys are, and losing the Wally. You guys are going to keep finding more and more of these local events. And I'm not being like, stop sending me events. I don't want more data. But I think Lint is definitely going to be one of these cases because of how tightly packed the talent is in New England. Well, I guess how tightly packed the talent is in New England, New York, Tri-State, and how often these players get to play against each other. I think a lot of where he ends up on the ranking is going to depend a ton on those greater local trends. Like, what's his head-to-head against Hacks? What's his head-to-head for the year against Two Saint, against Calvar, against Joy Boy? Like, all these up there New England players, and the players he loses to, like Leighton. How's his year end against Leighton? Does he end up against Leighton? Does he end down on him? Slox, Calvar, again, like a lot of these New England players I think are going to do a lot for informing where we rank Lint. So again, I appreciate you guys adding even more of these data sets in there, and I imagine there's probably like 5 or 6 more. Down to Shine, where again, a name we keep on seeing pop up and up and up. A win over KJH, which definitely is a huge win to highlight. I imagine his hacks practice and region is super helpful for getting that win. Win over a rookie as well is good. Not highlightable because a rookie is kind of fallen off a tiny bit this year, and then losing the Lod, True Dat, no problems there. And then we finish off the year main stage, win over Smash Daddy. Again, I could go back and forth on highlighting that one, and then losing the True Dat and Mango. So then we go to like the main question that we have to reach for every person, and I think it's really complicated for Lint, especially not having the full local results of will Lint make top 100. I think my gut, even without seeing the full local results, is yes. So to sum that all up in a nice, neat package, I think Lint will be top 100. The only reason I'm hesitant to say absolutely he'll be top 100 is just because I don't have the full local data set in front of me. But I imagine from what we can see here, that data set is going to give me a positive light of Lint, being 4th in New England, around a lot of these other talented players. That Calvar is going to make top 100, Joy Boy will probably make top 100, Slox will make top 100. Like, being around all these other players who make top 100 and consistently getting to play them and seeing how his record lines up with that will most likely push me in the direction to say that Lint is top 100. I'm just a very tiny bit hesitant to give it the full stamp of approval now, but it's looking really good for Lint to make an appearance on this year's top 100, and I think that about ends our discussion on him.